Okay, 2008 Bimota Tezzy 3D. This is number 5 of 29 here in the US ever imported, and these were the LE, like limited edition, or sometimes they're referred to as the concept edition. And they have some unique features only found on these few bikes. I just kind of wanted to go over the bike and maybe go over some of these features and give you a better idea what this bike's all about. Start with the paint scheme, which is Bimota's traditional racing colors, which is a red and white bike with gold wheels. If we continue with the wheels, these are only found on these 29 bikes. They're Marvic forged aluminum, anodized in gold. The wheels are just like every other piece on this bike, work of art, as you can see. The control arms, carbon fiber, that's only found on these first bikes, and then later they made an all carbon fiber edition that used those control arms that was sold in Europe. The levers, Akkosato levers with the Bimota etched, laser etched logo, brake and clutch are only found on these bikes. These reservoirs are hand machined with the Bimota logo on the top and kind of a knurled edge on the caps. Those are specific to these bikes. And actually this weave, this carbon weave, this wide weave was specifically designed for these bikes. This is a special carbon weave that they put together, and all the bodywork is carbon minus the tank, which is plastic. And this rear tail section and seat is structural carbon, so there's no aluminum or steel subframe in there. That's actual carbon fiber holding you up. The shocks on the bike are Extreme, Tech Extreme, which is an Italian company. Of course, you have your preload, rebound dampening, fully adjustable. The manual is great on this bike. It really goes over all your baseline settings for all your shocks. I mean, everything. Of course, here's your rear Marvic forged wheel. This bike has a Zard exhaust, which I think sounds and looks and weighs a lot less than the standard or your stock exhaust, which was this big boxy unit. I have the original turn signals. I just put these on. They were just smaller and clear. The original ones are these big orange signals, and I do have those that come with the bike. You'll notice this is a wet clutch Ducati 1100 2-valve motor, which means parts are readily available, super easy to maintain. You know, it's basically a tank. These motors go forever. And of course, this bike only has, I think, 2,700 and change miles on it. Carbon fiber belt covers, as you would expect. You have a badge that designates where you are in the 29 that were produced, and you can see it says Concept America number 005, and then your serial number will reflect that also. And this shock by Tech Extreme is specifically built for this bike only. It is a pneumatic nitrogen filled shock with a pull system, so as the front end dives or absorbs bumps, this will pull instead of compress like a standard shock. And this there's these little you click these little clickers that will adjust rebound dampening, and the way you do your preload or how, you know, kind of is how much nitrogen you put in this shock. It runs on about 135 pounds is like your standard, is what the manual says. I lowered that a little bit just because I'm a lighter rider. And then this Tech Extreme company, I emailed them back and forth, and they told me all about the shock, everything I needed to know. They were so helpful. So that was really cool. Of course, you know, there's so much stuff on the web about this bike. I don't want to go over everything, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea about this particular bike. The gauge is a Koso gauge. Has a couple cool features. It'll have these trailing lights, if you can see them. So as your RPM goes up, it'll kind of just hang the light on your shift point for a second or two so you can see where you were. Of course, all your kind of indicators here. It has a shift light actually here when you hit red line. There's an oil temperature gauge, and what you're going to use the most is your trip, you know, for your fuel. I think I went 125 miles once before I refueled, but the reserve light was definitely on. The way you start this bike is, you know, it has this little throttle advance like you would find on any Ducati, like the 916 had it. So you just clip the throttle advance on, and I have to pull in the clutch, so the video is going to be a little weird here for a minute. So you can kind of see now, if I give it the gas, how that, see how it just kind of hangs there and shows you what your RPM was. Of course, it sounds amazing, just like any Ducati sounds with a cool exhaust on it. Okay, so basically, as far as condition, I mean, I feel if you told somebody this bike has never been ridden, it's just been sitting in a museum, that's the condition it's in. It's just incredible. You know, in the fins of the motor, you know, all through here, there's just no little residue. You know, you can see, you know, this is where like most bikes would collect all kinds of like oil and road grime and everything. There's just nothing here. And a good indicator would be just kind of down here. It's just, you know, it's as delivered. Really clean. Now, there are minor cosmetic things that I do want to point out. The first would be this very slight ethanol expansion in the tank. You can see right here, and I've got the pictures of these on the listing too. They're about, I would say about 1 millimeter in width, and you can see the paint just separated just a bit. And then if you follow this here, you can, well, that's not it. You can see a little bit of that, see that paint separation there where the tank just began to expand just ever so slightly. It's under control. It hasn't gotten any worse, and there's 100% gas in it now. I found a place about 2 years ago, so it's always had like, I think sometimes I put race gas, sometimes I put like 90, you know, gasoline. So that's on the tank. Anywhere else, I mean, you can't find anything. And then I was going to a bike show and I loaded the bike myself and I rubbed the swing arm against the back sleeve, and you can see right here, there's a little mark, and the worst of it is right here, this kind of scratch you'll see. And what I did was just use some Ducati Anniversary Red touch-up. And to be honest with you, when you're standing in full sun, no matter where you are, if you're standing right next to the bike, you'd have to look for it, but you just can't see it. So I was satisfied with just the touch-up, and I never did anything else, and I'm really, really meticulous. So those are the two things that take the bike from being perfect to just very, very minor little things. I wanted to point them out because this bike is special. It's not cheap, so I wanted the buyer to know that's it on this bike. I mean, you could just go with a fine-tooth comb and not find anything as far as a scratch, even a swirl, anything. I mean, it's just impeccable. And you know, the pictures I tried to get really detailed so you can see there's just no grime, there's no indication of road wear or anything on this bike. Yeah, so that's it. That's hopefully not too detailed of a look. I'm seeing that it's a 10-minute video now, so hopefully I didn't bore you, but that's the bike. And you know, somebody's gonna own an awesome machine. Just it's a work of art. Engineering art is what I tell people. And if you ever take it to a show, or just, I go up to the mountains, anytime you stop on this bike, you just better be ready to answer a lot of questions. Anyway, good luck. Thank you.